One of the most famous brands of athletic wear, Nike, was not just made out of mere cleverness. In fact, the first ideas about Nike came as family dreams. How did this company that first started at the back of someone's car become so popular? Although many of you may not be interested in wearing or using a Nike product, I am positive that no matter who you are, you have seen a Nike advertisement or have been affected by Nike somehow. After much article reading, book research, and personal encounters, I have learned much about Nike that many people don't know about. Today I'm going to introduce to you where the name Nike and the logo came from, inform you on the success it has attained over the years, and also how and why it has become not only just popular among athletes, but other people as well. According to the author Donald Katz, who wrote the book Just Do It, the Nike Spirit in the Corporate World, this company started with two men for the love of athleticism. These two men were Bill Bowerman and Phil Knight. Bill Bowerman was University of Oregon's track coach, and Phil Knight was a middle distance runner. They were both looking for shoes that were more comfortable, resilient, and lighter for their runners and for their whole team. Together, these two men created Blue Ribbon Sports in 1968. The two were full of innovative ideas and immediately ordered their first 300 pairs of shoes from a company out of Japan called alissaturn. At first, Phil Knight started selling the shoes out of the trunk of his car, and while he did this, Bill Bowerman took the shoes apart, analyzed them, and tried to make them more comfortable, resilient, and lighter to run in. In the first year of Blue Ribbon Sports, the company sold 1,300 pairs of shoes, which grossed about $8,000, and was continuing to grow rapidly. These men began to expand the company in a few short years. In 1971, they hired their first full-time salesman, Jeff Johnson, who ended up being a great asset to the company. The idea to name the company Nike came to Johnson in a dream, as he dreamed of the mythological Greek goddess Nike. According to Nike Consumer Packet in 1996, Nike was the winged goddess of victory. Nike sat beside Zeus in Olympus and watched over the earliest war zones ever. The Greeks believed that if they went into battle and were to succeed, it was because of Nike. Johnson presented this idea with his two bosses, and not only did they approve of it, but they also loved it as well. This was just the beginning of the start to a new empire. During this time, Phil Knight was teaching accounting classes at the Portland State University. There he knew a graphic design student whom he asked to use her graphic design abilities to create a few options for logos that the Nike company could use. Specifically, the logo needed to be able to be placed on the side of the shoe. About a week later, she presented him with a few ideas that she came up with. When he laid his eyes on what is now known as the swoosh, he knew that it would be the one design that they wanted. As the company started to change with the new name and logo, they just needed to be able to get the name and product out there a little more. In 1972, Bowerman and Knight were able to talk 4 of the 7 Olympic marathon runners into wearing their shoes. This ended up being a great endorsement for them, and they continue to use popular athletes to endorse for the company to this day. As Bowerman still continued to try to better the quality and characteristics of the shoes, he got an idea from his wife's waffle iron. He designed the shoe with a waffle iron pattern on the bottom of the shoe for traction, but can still continue to be light and resilient to run in. This shoe was also known as the moon shoe. They found a popular Oregon runner to help endorse this shoe in 1973. This runner's name was Steve Prefontaine. He was very popular because he never had lost a race that happened in his home track. Because he was so successful, he caught the eye of many popular people, like Sports Illustrated magazine. As he wore the shoes of the Nike, that also was a good endorsement for the Nike company, since the popular mediums were focused on them. New inventions just kept pouring out and out, and the company was able to evolve into more than just a running shoe store. Author J.B. Strasser, a former Nike employee and author of Swoosh, recorded that in 1979 they successfully launched the newest technology, Nike Air, which implemented cushioning technology called Air to support mainly shoes, so that athletes geared more towards basketball would essentially get more air. After this, Nike was the top leader in the industry and is still in grade. In the early 1980s, there were over 200 items of shoes and 200 items of clothing available to consumers. Although this was great, the 1980s weren't always the best to Nike. The company had many ups and downs. One of the downs that they had was the time and effort and money they had spent in creating the perfect aerobic shoe. They thought it was going to be a little bit more popular than it really was, and that was time and money just lost. Because of this, they were replaced as top leader in the industry by Reebok by the mid-1980s. But there was only one way to go, and that was up. Their spirits continued to be positive. In 1987, they came out with Nike Air Max, which was an improved version of Nike Air. And this was so popular, especially because it was endorsed by Michael Jordan. Fortunately, it was able to give them the boost that they needed. In fact, to this day, much of Nike's success is owed to the support of Michael Jordan with the company. Also, after the evaluation of the company in 1988, Nike launched the empowering tagline, "Just Do It." According to Nike Biz in 1990, because of the new Nike Air Max endorsement of Michael Jordan and the new tagline, they were able to finally recapture their #1 spot as the leader in the industry once again. In this same year, Portland became the first home to a new retail as theater store called Nike Town. According to a study that was done by the Oracle Education Foundation, by 1999, the company's sales were almost to $9 billion and still growing higher and higher. Today, Nike's products are sold in about 20,000 retail accounts and in about 110 countries all over the world. The modern 21st century Nike is not only just a footwear anymore, but a whole line of clothing and equipment that will, quote, take the world's greatest athletes to the next level of victory, end quote. At first, Nike catered to runners being created by two runners themselves, but today they have products for just about every sport there is out there. Not only does it appeal to these athletes, but also to other individuals as well. The products have become very comfortable and fashionable to go to the gym in, to play sports in, or just even lounge around in. You've now heard the history of the Nike company, where exactly everything originated from, the success it has had from the 1960s to today, and how it has become so diverse among everybody, not just athletes. Nike may just seem like a popular brand that sells athletic wear among many others out there, but the quality and foundation that this company is built upon has been said to be far beyond any others. Now when you see that little swoosh that you can see numerous places out there, you won't overlook it, but remember the great history and success it has had behind.